Hello everyone. Today we're going to solve all the questions from Julius Caesar Act 4 Scene 3. So there are in total 45 questions and I think by the end of this video you're going to be thorough with this scene. So before we start with the questions, let's first go through the overview of this scene. So the scene opens with Cassius confronting Brutus for condemning a bribe that Lucius Pella has taken. But despite Cassius's plea to spare him, Brutus did not. Then Brutus actually accuses Cassius of being corrupt himself. Then the argument escalates to personal attacks and Brutus tells Cassius that he was denied gold which Brutus had asked Cassius in order to pay for his army. Then Cassius dramatically offers his heart for Brutus to stab and their argument is resolved. Then Brutus informs Cassius that Portia is dead. Cassius is amazed by how Brutus has accepted this devastating news. Then Brutus proposes that they march to Philippi to meet the army, but Cassius says that it is better that they stay here and the enemy comes to them. But finally, Cassius reluctantly agrees to what Brutus says. Later, as Brutus was reading alone, the ghost of Caesar appears and warns him that they will meet again at Philippi. Then Brutus sends the news to Cassius that they will march to Philippi the first thing in the morning and the scene ends. So this was the overview of the scene. Now we'll go towards the questions. The first question, why does Cassius say that Brutus has wronged him? A. His plea to not condemn and report Lucius Pella was dismissed. B. Because he did not include Cassius in his decisions. C. He took decisions against Cassius. Or D. None of the above. So, we have already discussed this in the overview, isn't it? The answer is A. Moving to the second question. What does Lucius Pella Second question. What did Lucius Pella do which made Brutus report him? A. He supported Julius Caesar even if he was a tyrant. B. He backstabbed the conspirators and rattled their plan to Populus Lena. C. He killed many innocent people. Or D. He took bribes from the Sardinians. Okay, I hope you marked your answer. Yes, he took bribes from the Sardinians. The third question. In such a time as this, it is not meet that every nice offense should bear his comment. What does Cassius mean? A. They should not pay attention to bribes and such crimes. B. During times of war, such topics should not be discussed. C. Every minor error should not be criticized. Or D. All of the above. And the answer is option C. During such times, every minor error should not be criticized or taken into account. The fourth one. What does Brutus accuse Cassius of doing? A. Supporting people like Lucius Pella. B. Having an itchy palm and taking bribes. C. Trading his position for gold to those undeserving. Or D. Both option B and C. And the answer is option D. If you remember, Brutus says, "Let me tell you, Cassius, you yourself are much condemned to have an itchy palm, to sell and mart your offices for gold, to undeserves. So this is what he said. Fifth one. What does Brutus mean by "I rather be a dog and bay the moon than such a Roman"? A. I rather be a dog than fight this war. B. I rather be a dog than take base bribes and put their reputation at stake. C. I rather be a dog than regret killing Julius Caesar. Or D. I rather be a dog than be called a villain for stabbing Caesar. And the answer is option B. Yes, if you remember, he says that we killed the greatest man in the world only for supporting robbers, and now defile our hands with base bribes and sell our high position for such small gains. So he says, I would rather be a dog and howl at the moon than be such a Roman who takes bribes. Sixth one. What actions does Brutus say they have done for justice's sake? A. Julius Caesar has bled. B. Julius Caesar was stabbed. C. They struck the greatest man of all this world. Or D. All of the above. So the answer is all of the above, because he says, didn't Julius Caesar bleed for justice's sake? Was he not stabbed for justice? And they struck the greatest man in the world because he was supporting robbers. So the answer is all of the above. All of this has happened for justice's sake. Seventh, what does Brutus say will contaminate their fingers? A. Killing Julius Caesar. B. Killing innocent people of Rome. C. Supporting robbers and taking base bribes. Or D. If they use people's money for the war. The answer is supporting robbers and taking base bribes. So if you remember in the passage, it is said, shall we now contaminate our fingers with base bribes and sell the mighty space of our large honors for so much trash as may be grasped thus? And he shows his fist. For just so much money are we going to sell our reputation? Okay, eighth one. What does Brutus accuse Cassius of doing after they have killed Julius Caesar for justice's sake? So what does Brutus accuse Cassius of doing? So what does Brutus say? They struck the greatest man of the world for supporting robbers, because if you remember, Julius Caesar had allowed tax collectors to act corruptly. That is why they are saying he supported robbers. And now, should they contaminate their fingers with base bribes and sell their mighty reputation for such small gains? That is what Brutus accuses Cassius of doing. Ninth one. Why does Cassius ask Brutus to not provoke him? A. He will not endure it. B. If Brutus cares about his health, he should not provoke him. C. He shall forget to restrain himself. Or D. All of the above. So the answer is all of the above. So Cassius says, Brutus, provoke me not, I will not endure it. Urge me no more, I shall forget myself. Have mind upon your health, tempt me no further. So he says all of this to Brutus. Hence it is all of the above. 10th one. What statement of Cassius made Brutus say, "Go to, you are not Cassius"? Option A, I am older in practice and abler than you to make decisions. B, I am more capable and more intelligent than you to make decisions. C, I am smarter and more capable than you to make decisions. Or D, none of the above. So the options sound somewhat similar, isn't it? So he says, I am older in practice and abler than you. That is what he says. 11th one. Who says the following? Must I give way and room to your rash choler? Shall I be frightened when a madman stares? Who says this? Is it A. Brutus, B. Cassius, C. Antony, or D. Octavius Caesar? So this is told by Brutus to Cassius. 12th one. Who says, away, slight man? So, away, slight man means leave, you little man. This is also mentioned by Brutus to Cassius. 13th one. Which among these statements does Brutus not make when Cassius is angry? A. So you have to say which one is not made. Okay. A. Fret till your proud heart breaks. B. Show your slaves how angry you are and make them tremble. C. Think, observe, stand and couch down for the actions of your anger. D. Digest the venom of your spleen and I shall use you for my amusement. E. Must I stand and bow under your bad temper? F. From this day on, I will use you for my amusement and for laughter when you are being difficult. So I'll give you some time for you to identify the answer. Okay, I hope you have marked your answer. So I'm going to read the passage, and as I read the passage, we are going to say which one is mentioned. So Brutus says, all this more, fret till your proud heart breaks. So this is mentioned. So option A is mentioned. Then what does he say? Go show your slaves how choleric you are and make your bondmen tremble. So this is also mentioned. Must I budge? Must I observe you? Must I stand and couch under your testy humor? So he doesn't tell him to couch down. So this is not mentioned. Brutus is asking, must I stand? Must I bow? So E option is mentioned. This is not mentioned. Then let's go further and see. By the gods, you shall digest the venom of your spleen. Though it do split you, for from this day forth I will use you for my mirth, means amusement, yes, for my laughter, when you are waspish, means being difficult. So he definitely says, digest the venom of your spleen, and he also mentioned this, I will use you for my amusement. So option C is not mentioned. Moving to the 14th one. What passes Brutus as the idle wind? A. Accusations. B. Hurting words. C. Other people's anger. Or D. Terror of threats. Okay, so have you marked your answer? It is terror of threats. Brutus says, right, there is no terror Cassius in your threats, for I am armed so strong in honesty that they pass me as the idle wind. So he's talking about threats passing Brutus as the idle wind. 15th. Which among these shall Brutus do for raising money? A. Ask the rich people. B. Take bribes from hard hands of peasants. C. Use vile means. Or D. Coin his heart and drop his blood for drachmas. So this answer is pretty apparent. Yes, it is D. Moving to the 16th one. Brutus accuses Cassius of denying him something. What was it? A. Decision-making power. B. Gold to pay his legions. C. Silver coin to pay his legions. Or D. None of the above. So the answer is B. Gold. If you remember, Brutus says, I did send you for certain sums of gold which you denied me. It is gold. 17th. Instead of taking bride, what shall Brutus do to raise money? So what did he say? Brutus says that he cannot raise money through vile means. He would rather coin his heart and drop blood for coins, which is drachmas, than to take small amounts of money from the calloused hands of peasants. That is, in the passage it is mentioned, hard hands of peasants through deceitful means. 18th one. Brutus says that if he acted like Cassius and denied his friend of money, what should have happened to Brutus? So Brutus says, if Brutus had become greedy and denied his friend money, he asked the god to be ready with all their thunderbolts and strike him down. Coming to the 19th one. A friend should bear his friend's dash, but Brutus makes mine greater than they are. What is it? A. Mistakes. B. Anger. C. Infirmities. Or D. Rudeness. So the answer is infirmities or weakness. That is what Cassius says. Brutus has rived my heart, means broken my heart. A friend should bear his friend's infirmities, but Brutus makes mine greater than they are. 20th one. A flatterer would not, though they do appear as huge as high Olympus. What is Brutus talking about which is as big as Olympus? A. False. B. Anger. C. Money. Or D. Greed. So the answer is A. False. Yes. A flatterer wouldn't see the faults even if it was as huge as Mount Olympus. 21. Why does Cassius ask Antony and young Octavius to take revenge on Cassius alone? And why is he tired of life? A. He is hated by the ones he loves. B. He is defied by his brother Brutus. C. Treated like a bondman and all his faults are noted and memorized and thrown in his face. Or D. All of the above. So the answer is all of the above. If you can recall in the passage, Cassius says, "Come, Antony, and young Octavius, come. Revenge yourself alone on Cassius, for Cassius is aweary of the world," means tired. Hated by ones he loved. Braved by his brother, means disobeyed. Checked like a bondman, all his faults observed. Set in a notebook, learnt, and conned by rote, means memorized by rote learning. And to cast into my teeth, that is to throw into his face. So I'm repeating all these points over and over again so that these answers are ingrained in your mind and you're not going to forget anything in your examination. 22nd. To what does Cassius compare his heart to? A. Bigger than Mount Olympus. B. Dearer than Pluto's mine. C. Richer than silver. Or D. Jupiter's silver mine. And the answer is dearer than Pluto's mine. So he says that here is my naked breast within her heart, dearer than Plutus's mine, richer than gold. So it is not richer than silver. Okay. Coming to the 23rd one. Cassius, you are yoked with a lamp that carries anger as dash. A pot of bubbling water. B. Melting ice. C. A flint striking. Or D. A true Roman. And the answer is C. He says, right, Brutus says, Cassius, you are yoked with a lamp that carries anger as the flint bears fire. 24th. What reason does Cassius give that makes him forgetful of how to behave? A. False accusations against him. B. Rash humor that his mother gave him. C. That he is aviary of the world. D. When his faults are memorized and cast into his teeth. So what makes him forgetful of how to behave? The answer is rash humor that his mother gave him. He says, right, the rash humor which my mother gave me makes me forgetful of how to behave. Moving to the next question, 25th. To whom does Brutus say, I'll know his humor when he knows his time? What should the wars do with these jiggling fools? A. Cassius, B. Poet, C. Antony, or D. Young Octavius. So Brutus tells it to the poet. Yes. 26th. Brutus says that he is sick of many griefs. What caused grief to Brutus? A. Cassius denying him money. B. Roman people trying to kill him. C. Death of Portia. Or D. Fight and argument with Cassius. And the answer is C. Death of Portia, his wife. 27th. How did Portia die? A. She was killed by the angry mob. B. Died of a weak heart. C. She swallowed fire. Or D. Made her servant take her life. And the answer is she swallowed fire. If you remember Brutus saying that tidings came, with that she fell distract, and her attendants absent swallowed fire. 28th. Why did Portia kill herself? A. Impatient of Brutus's absence. B. Grief that Octavius and Antony have made themselves strong. C. The news made her delusional. Or D. She was hurt by Brutus's decision to kill Caesar. So why did Portia kill herself? Yes, she was impatient of Brutus's absence. Yes, grief that they were strong. And the news made her delusional. So it is A, B and C and not D. 29th. Why can Brutus endure Portia's death now? A. He will have to think about the war. B. Because Cassius is with him for strength. C. Because of Stoic philosophy. Or D. Accepting that she would have to die someday. Answer is D. He says to Messala, right? Farewell, Portia, we must die, Messala. With meditating that she must die once, I have the patience to endure it now. 30. Who says, even so great men, great losses should endure? A. Messala, B. Brutus, C. Cassius, or D. Lucius? So the answer is A. Messala. He tells this. 31. Who suggests to march to Philippi at once? A. Messala, B. Cassius, C. Brutus, or D. none of the above? So we all know that it is Brutus who suggested to march to Philippi. Correct. 32nd. Why does Cassius not want to march towards Philippi and want the enemies to come to them? See, these multiple choice questions can also come as large question and answer, so you have to recall the answers. Okay. A. It is better if the enemy seeks them. B. Better for the enemy to get tired and waste their resources. C. The enemies will weaken their capacities. D. They can stay here lying still, rested, energetic and nimble. Yes, it is all of these options. He says, no, it is better that the enemy seeks them, because when they come from Philippi towards here, they are going to get tired. They are going to waste their resources. So Cassius says, so shall he waste his means, weary his soldiers, doing himself offense, while we, lying still, are full of rest, defense and nimbleness. 33. What reasons among these does Brutus not give to march to Philippi immediately? So you have to figure out which is not given by Brutus. So many of these answers will be given by Brutus. A. People between Philippi and there are in duress and might join the enemy. B. The enemy army, after gaining additional numbers, might feel refreshed and encouraged. C. It would scare the enemies. D. If they march to Philippi, they have the advantage of cutting off the addition of enemies. E. Their army is brimful and their cause is ripe. F. If moment seized at the right moment leads to success. If missed, the whole course of their lives become mirrored with difficulties and misery. G. If we keep waiting, our legions will be aimless and bored and might lose their sense of purpose. Okay, so shall we discuss? So Brutus says, the people between Philippi and this ground do stand but in forced affection. So this he says. For they have grudged us contribution. The enemy marching along by them shall make a fuller number up. So come on refreshed, new added and encouraged. So if the enemy army, they might, after gaining numbers, might feel refreshed and encouraged. From which advantage shall we cut him off? So if we face them at Philippi, with these people at our back, we will have the advantage of cutting them up. So this also he says. Then what does he say? Our armies are brimful, our cause is ripe. So this also he says. Then The enemies increased every day. We are at the height and ready to decline. This is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. So we should seize the right moment, and if missed, the whole course of life will be in difficulties. So option C is not mentioned and option G is not mentioned. Yes, this is an important question, so please pay attention. 34th one. Brutus says, the deep of night is crept upon our talk and nature must obey necessity. So what necessity is Brutus talking about? A. Sincerity, B. Loyalty, C. Sleep, or D. Brotherhood? And the answer is sleep, yes. 35. Which instrument does Lucius play? A. Flute, B. Harp, C. Lute, or D. Violin? And the answer is lute. 36. Who does Brutus call to lie in his tent that night? A. Lucius and Varro, B. Varro and Claudius, C. Cassius and Lucius, or D. Claudius and Lucilius? So the answer is Varro and Claudius lie in the tent that night. 37. How ill this taper burns. Ha! Who comes here? Who had come to visit Brutus? A. A ghost of Caesar, B. A ghost, C. An angel, or D. God? Yes, we all know this answer. It is ghost of Caesar. 38. What does Brutus first think the person was? A. Enemy, B. His dream, C. Monstrous apparition, or D. None of the above? The answer is monstrous apparition. He says, right, I think it is the weakness of my eyes that shapes this monstrous apparition. It comes upon me. 39. What does the spirit tell Brutus? A. It is a ghost and will kill him. B. It was his evil spirit and they will meet at Philippi. C. An imagination or a dream. Or D. It will kill Brutus at Philippi. So it says, right, who are you? So it says, thy evil spirit Brutus, and we shall meet at Philippi. 40th one. Who were in the tent with Brutus? A. Lucius, B. Varro, C. Claudius, D. All of the above. So we all know Lucius was playing the lute and he fell asleep, and Varro and Claudius were already sleeping in the tent. So the answer is all of the above. 41. What does Lucius say when Brutus wakes him up? A. That he had a bad dream. B. He heard something. D. He did not cry. Or D. Strings to his instruments were false. So when Brutus wakes them up, Lucius says, the strings, my lord, are false. It's option D. 42. What command does Brutus give to brother Cassius? A. Cassius's soldiers must march first in the early morning. B. He saw the ghost of Caesar. C. They should not march to Philippi in the morning. Or D. He has a bad feeling that he is going to die. So the command that Brutus gave to his brother Cassius was to march first thing early in the morning. 43. What does Brutus say about the tune that Lucius was playing? A. Sad tune. B. Sleepy tune. C. A murderous tune. Or D. None of the above. So the answer is sleepy tune. He says, this is a sleepy tune. O murderous slumber, lays thou thy leaden mace upon my boy that plays the music. So he calls it a sleepy tune. 44th one. What does Brutus want to do with the ill spirit that appeared to him at night? A. Forget about it. B. Send it away. C. Hold more talk with it. D. Ask what its intentions were. And the answer is C. Brutus says, ill spirit, I would hold more talk with thee. But before I was brave enough, you have vanished. 45. What command did Brutus give to inform Cassius? A. That he saw Caesar's ghost. B. To not advance to Philippi as the ghost will come there. C. Brutus would follow Cassius's orders from now on. Or D. To advance his forces first thing in the morning. So we've already discussed this, but this is another way of forming the question, and that is why I have mentioned. So the answer is to advance his forces first thing in the morning. And yes, we have completed all questions. So I've tried to include as many questions as possible so that if any question come from any nook and corner, you are thorough with this scene. And let me tell you that I'm really proud of you for the efforts that you're putting in making sure that you get good grades in your examination. All the very best, and make sure you share this video among your friends as well so that all of you can score good marks and enjoy the fruits of your hard work. God bless.